First Motley Stew show after a new baby, let's see how this one goes. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another episode of the Motley Stew show. I'm your host Luke Goldstein, and every week we take a look at some of the biggest stories in news and politics and try to step out of the echo chamber and see what's really going on. The story I picked this week is one that was kind of big news when it first happened, but then kind of faded out because of other stuff, and usually a lot of it's just nonsense, but I think this is a really important story and something that we should try to focus on because we want to know exactly why it happened and see if that's a good or a bad thing. And that story is the surprise announcement of the resignation of Speaker of the House John Boehner. Now, if you don't know who John Boehner is by this point, you haven't been watching this show long enough. But for all the details, he is the 61st Speaker of the House of Representatives. He's a Republican from Ohio's 8th District, and he's been in Congress for almost 25 years. And he's been Speaker of the House for almost 5 of those years. He announced his resignation on September 25th, saying that he would step down at the end of October, and this was kind of a big deal. He stole a little bit of the news coverage because this was the day after Pope Francis had actually addressed the joint houses of Congress. So many people took the Pope's visit to be kind of the defining moment for John Boehner, and maybe it reprioritized what he wanted to do with his life or things that maybe he just didn't want to deal with anymore. Boehner himself did refer to meeting the Pope as one of the highlights of his entire career. Now, for those of you who have been following politics only recently, you might think of John Boehner as someone who's unusually unpopular. He's been basically challenged for Speaker of the House almost since he took it because he didn't fulfill the Tea Party promise to really do all the things that the far right wanted to do. The conservatives were unhappy with him from basically day one. There was an open rebellion against John Boehner recently, and they tried to run him out of the speakership, but they failed. But it looks like it was going to happen again, depending on whether or not he was able to get the Planned Parenthood funding stripped from the budget bill that was going to be passed through the House. John Boehner realized that stripping the Planned Parenthood funding was not going to work. It was never going to get past the Senate, and it wouldn't get past the president. So he wasn't looking forward to actually doing it. He did not want to shut down the government again over this particular issue, because he knew if they shut down the government again, it's always a losing issue for Republicans. It riles up their base, but nationally it makes them look bad, and it makes them look like they can't govern. So what usually follows from that is going into the 2016 elections, the Republicans would lose more ground. And they're already looking to lose some ground anyway because they've got more seats to protect this time around, just like the Democrats had more seats to protect in 2014. So Boehner wasn't willing to go to bat for this issue, and it looked like the easy way to not do that was basically to step down from the speakership, because then it put him in the position of being a lame duck speaker. In the same way that President Obama right now is a lame duck president. Neither of them have to worry about pushing through bills that can make people happy, that can keep them in positions of power. Now, both of these people can actually push through legislation with their power that they want. Things that they have been wanting to get done without worry of political repercussions because there are none. They're done. But going back to Boehner's popularity, he wasn't always super unpopular. In fact, coming from Ohio, where he was actually continually voted in by his district, the lowest percentage he ever had was 61%. He was always very popular there. In fact, 2 years, 94 and 2012, he ran unopposed. And his original win to get into Congress was actually over a politician who had been accused of having sex with a minor. So really, who's gonna lose that race? So right after Boehner announced that he was going to resign, he actually did push through a clean funding bill, a continuing resolution to keep the government open at least until December. You could say he kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit, but at least he avoided the government shutdown this time. In December, it's going to be another big fight, and it could be even more critical. But he won't be around, so it doesn't really matter to him. There are a lot of other people wondering right now, what else is he going to do? He's got basically a month to push whatever he wants through the House. There was an immigration bill that everyone had agreed on. It was the Gang of 8 bill that was agreed on in the Senate, and then it went to the House and it stalled. It was actually Boehner himself that stalled it there. So some people are calling to him now saying, look, push through the Gang of 8 immigration bill. You have the time left and you have the power because you can choose right now to ignore the Hastert rule, which was named for Representative Dennis Hastert, who said if you're the majority leader or the Speaker of the House, you should only push through bills that actually have a majority of your party's support, meaning you would never look to the minority party for votes you needed to get a bill through. But right now, in the House of Representatives, the Conservative Caucus plus the Freedom Caucus and all these far-right Tea Party people represent 60-plus seats. And that could be enough in many cases to stop a majority piece of legislation from going through just on establishment Republican support, unless he actually gets Democrat support as well. Which could be where he goes if he wants to get the immigration bill through, but he hasn't said anything about that. In fact, he hasn't even made any hints about what he will do with his time left. As for Planned Parenthood, it is safe for now in terms of federal funding, but that's only for the next 3 months. And Cecile Richards was actually just in front of a congressional hearing the other day testifying about why Planned Parenthood still deserves to get that funding and that they don't sell aborted fetuses for parts and to make money and for profit, and that all those videos that have been coming out have been thoroughly debunked, and to most of the people that investigated them, a thorough series of disappointments. Of the states that have actually launched investigations into Planned Parenthood because of these videos, the ones who have finished have come back and said the same thing over and over again. There is no illegal activity happening. There is no selling of body parts. But you wouldn't hear that from Ted Cruz, you wouldn't hear that from Mike Lee, and you definitely wouldn't hear that from people like Louis Gohmert and Steve King. The people who want Planned Parenthood shut down want it shut down no matter what the facts are. But I digress, I'm getting off point. Back to John Boehner. So to some people you could say 25 years in Congress is a long enough time and maybe he's decided to move on. But other people are saying, look, he had a big position of power. He might have lost it in the 2016 election. He might have gone back to just being majority leader, but that's still a position of power. And why would you step down? And the answer to that is he was probably going to get forced out. There was another retaliation event coming towards him, and maybe he just wanted to get out of the way. That being said, who's stepping in? There are probably going to be a few people running for that seat, but the one the pundits are most looking at right now is Kevin McCarthy, who is the majority leader of the Republicans in the House. He's basically the next in line, and he's what the pundits think is just going to step up. He'll have the most vote. The issue with Kevin McCarthy is he's promised to be a more consistent conservative. Now, he could be just playing to the right. He could be just trying to get the far-right base in the conservative caucus. But if he is actually going to be a more consistent conservative, we could see even more gridlock than before, which is not good for the country. So with all that being said, what do you think about Boehner's resignation? Do you think this is actually a good step for the House? Do you think it's time to get him out of the way? Maybe he was part of the problem? Or do you think that he was actually, in the slightest, actually able to keep things going, and it's going to get worse with him gone? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks again for watching another episode of the Motley Stew Show. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can do so here. And now you're not only subscribing to me and Logan and my wife, you're actually subscribing to me, Logan, and Liam and my wife. And also you can favorite, like, and share this video with anyone else that you think might want to join in the conversation. Stay tuned for next week. And I usually say, as always, here's a little bit of Logan, but from now on, it's going to be, as always, here's a little bit of Logan or Liam.
Okay. Hi, buddy. Come here.
He's like, there's a lot of people in here.
Come here. Do you want to meet your brother? Come here.
There's a little too many people.
Don't worry about it.
Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here.
Do you want to meet your brother? He put the sticker on there, by the way.
I got a sticker for me.
You got a sticker on your face.
Sticker? Oh.
Hey,
Do
buddy.
you know that I miss you?
Who's that?
Who's this?
It's on my face.
You have a sticker on your face. Yes, you do.
Sticker.
Do you want to put it on your brother?
Yeah.
He's right there.
You want to put the sticker on his blanket? Is it really stuck?
Yeah.
Do you need daddy's help?
Look at his face.
Here, okay. Oh, kind of hurts, huh?
Ouch.
Oh, there you go. Can you put it on Liam's blanket?
Yeah.
He's a visitor now.
Can mommy have a kiss? I have missed you so much. Hi, buddy. Can you say hi to everybody over there? What do you think of your brother?
Yeah, Grandma did come with you.
Yeah. Logan, you have to stay here, honey. Do you want me to close it or leave it open?
You can close it once he comes back in.
Logan, do you...
Trash in there?
There
Yeah.
is trash in there.
Do you want to say hi to your brother? Acknowledge his existence?
Is he little?
Yeah.
Do you want to hold him?
For the daddy.
You want Daddy to hold him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to say, you want to give him a kiss?
Yeah.
Say hi, brother.
You can just-
Head. Is he soft?
You can give him a little kiss on the head. Don't worry. Won't hurt him. There you go.
Do you like him?
Just a little bit.
He's going to wake up in a minute and he's going to want to eat some food.
He's sweet in there.
He is
Yeah.
sleeping.
But this should serve as a lesson of what happens when something falls off the internet. When it stops trending on Twitter, it doesn't mean it stops happening in the real world. And as long as I'm just kind of as honest as I can be and as authentic as I can be, I think it'll just come naturally at some point along the way. At least I hope so.